Hello and welcome. You're watching the F&O Show on BloombergQuint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Dsouza.
Good morning. I'm Agam, Vakil, and here are the top headlines for this hour. Well, it's a cautious start to the day with oil marketing companies leading the laggards, but open interest in Engineers India and NBCC surges as traders take fresh positions in their respective futures. And GAIL and ONGC are the top two Nifty gainers after crude prices touch a 28-month high. And HDFC Standard Life's 8,700 crore IPO opens for subscription today.
All right, let's take a look as to what's happening in the futures and options market today. Yesterday, in the last hour, you did see some bit of sell-off and profit booking coming about, but the Nifty futures today, Nifty Bank futures that is, it's trading with cut of almost 59 points, though with a premium of almost 35 points. The Nifty futures will also come up on your screen. Well, last when I checked, actually, I don't know if they surpassed the 10,500 mark, but clearly in the last 15 to 20 minutes, looks like there has been some bit of sell-off which is coming into the market. It's Nifty currently down 14 points after having a positive start to this morning. 10,438 is where Nifty is trading. The premium is still intact around the levels of about 35. Let's just pull up India VIX then, up 2.5%. Remember, yesterday there was a huge surge in the India VIX in the last 1 hour of trade. It was up 9%, and currently India VIX is almost trading at day's high with gains of about 3%. What's the kind of range that one can expect on Nifty? The trading range remains intact around those levels of 10,300 on the downside to about 10,600 on the upside, and it is the 10,500 call strike where a lot of writing has been seen in the last few sessions, and that's acting as a big barrier for Nifty to cross that mark, because there has been a bit of call writing which has come in around those levels. But in today's session specifically, you've got open interest coming out for both 10,400 and the 10,500 respective call and put strikes. All of them have seen a bit of open interest addition, but the major open interest addition has been seen for 10,000 call. That's added almost 2.5 lakh shares, and similarly for 10,500 put strike has also added about 2.2 lakh shares. And interestingly, Agam, I was just looking at the FI data. They started the series with net long on index futures with a percentage of 70. That number has now come down to 61%, which is telling you they're buying in the cash segment in this month, but they are hedging their position in the futures and options market.
Right. We were talking about stock futures too, some very interesting names here. NBCC, of course, features in that list in terms of increase in open interest in today's day of trade. But can we pull up that list where we have the list of all the gainers? There you go. NBCC right at the top, 18% increase in open interest. And I do want to talk about NBCC a little later. Engineers India, Torrent Power, Oil India, as well as BHEL, all looking at a surge in OI. Look at BHEL specifically out there. The stock itself hasn't really moved too much, but there is an increase in open interest. Why? We're expecting earnings today. Let's also take a look at the decline in open interest, and there you go. Work hard. It seems that should we see that 10% decline today, it could very well come out of the F&O band as it went in yesterday. PVR, Balkrishna Industries, Adani Enterprise, and CEAT also looking at some amount of unwinding, but work hard. At least as of now, looking at likely to come out of the F&O band should we see that OI number being held. But coming down to NBCC, and again, we've had BofA ML initiate a buy on NBCC with a price target of 330. NBCC is currently trading at around 288. That means another 40 odd points from these levels. That's the upside, BofA ML is looking at. Well, if you consider the positives here, Bank of America Merrill Lynch is saying that the strong execution and EPS growth, it has a robust order win and free cash flows to sustain sustain these multiples. But, at 28 times forward earnings, there is some amount of concern. So when it comes to whether or not they can maintain their margins. But for now, of course, Bank of America Merrill Lynch inclined positively as far as NBCC is concerned. And of course, we'll be watching out for the development in the kind of prices that we see for NBCC in the meet.
Well, that's a huge surge that one is seeing just in the first hour of trade, up almost 10% NBCC. Well, on that note, before we get our guest on the show, here's a reminder. If you have any queries related to the futures and options market, you can call us us now on 022-4540-4141. You can also write to us on Twitter, Facebook with AskPQ hashtag. Let's welcome our F&O experts for the day then. Nirav Sheda of Nirmal Bang Securities and Abhijit Phatak of Definite Solution joins us on the show now. Good morning to both of you gentlemen and appreciate you joining us today on BloombergQuint. Abhijit, let me come to you first. Nifty has been trading in that range of say 70 to 80 points in the last 3 to 4 trading sessions. We've still not been able to surpass the 10,500 mark. The volatility surged in the last hour of trade yesterday, and once again now it's up almost 2.5 to 3%. Do you think there can be a near-term correction first before we touch that level of 10,500?
I think we might have made a short-term top yesterday. I was looking at a 10,700 call. It made a high near 38. In fact, it was a third time it went to that high and could not cross it. So as long as 10,700 call is trading below 40, it is well below that round. So that is a sign of a short-term top. At the same time, I am looking at 100 on the 10,500 put as a support. So even that has made a sort of a double bottom yesterday and today. So even that is indicating that we might be making a short-term top. At the same time, to look at the support on Nifty, I am looking at a 10,500 call. If that goes below 100, which it is right now 107, so below 100 it can go further down to 80. So that is a support level which might be near 10,430, 10,450 on Nifty futures.
Nirav, good morning to you. You are expecting some volatility as far as benchmarks go?
Yeah. See, nothing has really changed from the last week. We are making higher top, higher bottom formation. The PCR is increasing along with the VIX. The VIX has gone up to about 13 levels, which is more than the last week. So I am expecting a lot of volatility. However, the bias is positive. I would be long in the market along with hedging my positions with buying puts.
Nirav will be hedging his positions by buying puts, and so far, both Nifty, Bank Nifty have been trading above their key moving averages, so nothing to worry there. Let's shift our focus to the options corner then. Nirav Sheda has a Nifty long straddle call. Before we take a look at his strategy, let's see what it means exactly. A long straddle is when one buys and at the money calls and puts in anticipation of increase in volatility, and when the volatility increases, followed by expansion in the option premium, the strategy becomes profitable. And Nirav, we're actually seeing the volatility inching upwards. Take us through your strategy.
Yeah. See, again, the basic premise for the strategy is the VIX increasing. Now, the VIX has gone up to 13 levels. I'm expecting Nifty to move at least 200 points more from here, either upwards or downwards. So, buying a long straddle, 10,450 call and put at current levels with a combined premium of about 235 points would be a good strategy going forward. Any move of 200 points on either upside or the downside, you're going to make money. Also, you should keep a stop loss about 50 points when your total premium comes down to 185 points. That is where you exit positions from both the levels. Also, if it goes up to 335 points, that is your target. That is where you book your positions again.
Okay, Abhijit, considering you are expecting the range to remain between 10,430 and 10,530 to be precise, what and how would you employ options in the Nifty right now?
Like I said, I'm looking at the levels of 10,000, 100 on the 10,500 put. As long as that is not breached. So any dip in the 10,500 put, one can go long with the stop loss below 100. And once Nifty falls to 10,450, 10,430, I'll be looking at a 10,500 call. If that doesn't go below 80, that can be one can go long there with a stop loss below 80. So that is 107 right now, and the put is 131 right now. So right now, as of now, there is no trade in this because even Nifty is in the middle of the range. So we have to wait for the extremes to come and then take the trade.
Okay, let's also look at a couple of the active stock futures then in today's trading session. Agam was talking about NBCC. Now that's a counter which has seen both price action as well as open interest addition in today's trade. Well, the plate will just come up on your screen. That's the NBCC November futures, where the open interest has risen nearly 21% and the futures are trading with a mild bit of discount, almost 65 paisa there. Nirav, let me come to you. What's the call on NBCC at current levels? Would you initiate any fresh long position, or would you advise people who had taken long to book profits?
See, NBCC has broken out above its range. It was trading with a strong resistance of about 275 in the last 2 weeks, and that has been broken above. Good open interest addition has been seen in this counter also, as you said. So I do believe one can go long with a stop loss of about 270 for a target of about 310 in this counter. I believe it can come up to 320, 330 in the next week itself.
Well, NBCC is certainly one of those few stocks which are going to be more expensive in the range it is in. And in terms of government companies,
yep.
Certainly, yeah, because I've noticed it's currently trading at 58 times FY18 earnings. And I seldom do we see companies out there, government-owned companies, which trade at those, multiples. But anyways, going in, I do also want to address some of those counters in which we are expecting, some earnings today. So Abhijit, if I may ask you on BHEL, we're looking at a surge in open interest today, though the stock really hasn't moved too much. Is there any trade out here that you can go long or short on?
Did you say BHEL?
Yes, BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electricals. Well, while Abhijit gives us an answer on that one, as you can see there, the stock has moved
I think
yes,
BHEL has already moved up, so it's a bit tricky to take a trade now. I would rather wait for a support level of 95 and then buy it with a stop loss of 92.
Okay, that's the call on BHEL, where the open interest is up nearly 9%. Well, it's one of those rare days when you got the top gainers on Nifty all being IT companies. HCL Technologies, TCS, Infosys, Tech Mahindra and Wipro. Actually, the top 5 gainers are your IT companies. Nirav, anything looking good here? Because these are the companies which have not participated in terms of the rally which we've seen for the markets.
Yeah, IT as a whole hasn't really performed, but if you look in the IT sector, HCL Tech is one company which is consistently moving up from the last quarter. I do believe it can move up towards 920, 930 levels. Some good open interest addition has been seen from the last month itself in this counter. So I do believe it can come up. One can buy this with a stop loss of about 830 and hold for targets of about 900. Probably in the last week of this month, you can see the target achieved.
Okay, I also want to take up Engineers India, and Engineers India has seen a surge of nearly 14% in open interest currently. Engineers India has also moved up by as much as 4.4% right now in terms of spot. Abhijit, do you foresee, and if anyone were to get into Engineers India at these current levels, can they do so, and what levels should they keep in mind?
One can go long near 195, but there has to be a strict stop loss of 188. I mean, it's not a very favorable stop loss, so you'll have to wait for a dip to 192, 195 and then take a trade with a stop loss of 188, not at these current levels because the stop loss is quite far off.
Look at Yes Bank. That counter is down almost 4% right now. Let's just pull up the intraday chart. Yes Bank open interest is up nearly 6%. Let's pull up the intraday chart and see when exactly this fall came about, whether it had a gap down opening. No, actually the stock's now trading almost at day's low, and it is your top loser also on Nifty. Nirav, on the chart, is it triggering any sort of breakdown?
See, a lot of open interest had been shed in Yes Bank, so I do believe there has been profit booking taking place. It has got very good support around 298 levels, so one should wait for going short in this counter. Let 298 be broken on a closing basis. One that is broken, you can see levels of 250 also coming in this counter. So short below 298 for a target over 250, and 310 will be your stop loss.
All right, and there is one more counter that we can talk about, and this is from the Torrent Group. Torrent Power is gaining around 3.3%, and it's an increase of open interest of as much as nearly 8.4%. Again, there has been a surge and a lot of increased activity in the entire Torrent Group, but Torrent Power stands out in today's day of trade. Abhijit, can you tell us a little more about Torrent Power? At these levels, this is a good level to go long on if anyone wanted to.
Torrent Power, one can go long near 280 or 279 with a stop loss of 275, or a safer long will be above the high of 285 with a stop loss of 282. It is looking quite good on the chart, so it is worth going long as long as you have a good stop loss level.
Okay, that's the call on Torrent Power. Abhijit, I just want to talk about one more stock, Titan, which was up almost 18 to 19% yesterday, has seen a bit of cool off in today's session. It's down almost 2%. Would you recommend at these dips one should look to initiate fresh longs here, or you should just avoid this counter?
No, it has run up quite a lot from 580, 590 all the way to these levels. So I would avoid going long in Titan completely.
Okay, so avoid going long on Titan, at least as of now, but we are going to move on to queries from our viewers. We have the first one from Facebook. This one's from Vishal Rajpal, and he wants to get a view on NMDC. He has bought at 137, if I'm not mistaken. What can he do with NMDC? Well, Nirav, if you have any idea on NMDC, it's currently trading at around 130. The stock itself is declined by as much as 0.5%, not too much change in open interest either. What can Vishal do with NMDC right now?
Yeah, looking at the metal pack, all of the metals have witnessed good long creation except for NMDC. But in this last week, you've seen some good addition in NMDC in the whole week, not yesterday. So I do believe that it can go up towards 137, which is level. It can also cross that and move up to 150 odd levels, which can be the target. He can again average here and keep a stop loss of about 125. 122 for his longs, and the target would be around 150.
Okay, that's the view coming in on NMDC. Our other queries also come on Facebook. H. Khatri has bought 20 shares of Axis Bank at a price of 541. He wants to know what should he do in Axis Bank. Let's see where it is trading currently. We'll just pull up the chart for you. As the buy price is 541, it has slipped below that. Currently, the underlying is trading at 526. Abhijit, what do you think Mr. Khatri should do? Should he hold on to his position since the price has fallen below his buy price?
It depends on what time frame he was looking at. On a long term, Axis Bank is not bad at all. But if he is a short term trader, 545 was a big resistance. So I would look for a closing above 545 to carry forward. But if he is not comfortable, I mean, if he is looking for a short term, he should use a strict stop loss of something like 525.
Okay, so that's the view on Axis Bank, but we're going to move on to our callers. And the first caller is Ashi Kapoor from New Delhi. Hi Ashi, thanks for joining us. Tell us what would you like to know from our experts. Do we have Ashi? Ashi, if you can hear us, tell us what you would like to know from our experts. I think there is an audio issue with Ashi. Okay, I think we'll come back to that one. Do we have another caller, or should we move on to? All right, so, well, moving on to Twitter queries then. Again, the first Twitter query comes from Raghav Sardar, and he is long on one lot of CEAT November futures at 1720, and he wants to know what are the levels to look at. Well, can we pull up CEAT and this November futures? Well, it's currently at 1753, so he's clearly sitting at a profit of 30 points. Nirav, if I may come to you, what can Raghav do with CEAT right now?
Yeah. CEAT has witnessed a long consolidation in the last 1 or 2 months. It has broken out now above the 1700 levels. I think he should hold on to his long positions in CEAT. It can come up towards 1850 odd levels. I would suggest that till it comes to 1850, he might have to roll over also, but one should roll over and take the target of about 1850. It is long due for CEAT. One can keep a stop loss of about 1700 for longs.
Okay, that's the view on C8. Girish Kumar has joined us live on Facebook and he has a query on Engineers India, I guess. He's saying he's got 2 lots at 185. Girish, it's a good day for you since the stock has seen a good surge in today's session. Let's see where it is trading. 185 is the buy price and the November futures are at 195. Abhijit, he's 10 rupees in the money. He's got 2 lots. What do you think he should do? Should he book profits or hold on?
Yeah, it is good, but then right now it has come down all the way from 202. So I think he should use a stop loss of 192 and see if it crosses 205. But if it is going further down, he should use a strict stop loss of 192.
All right, so that's a view on Engineers India. But moving on to our next query, this one is from Meghna Prabhu. And she is holding a 10,500 Nifty call strike. And she has bought it at 90 and she wants to know if it is advisable to hold on to the position. Nirav, the 10,500 Nifty call at 90, what can she do with her position now?
Okay. Sorry. For Nifty, the bias is positive. If you look at the chart also, the higher top, higher bottom formation continues to move on. If you look at the 10,500 call chart, there is some sort of writing happening at 10,500. However, I do believe it can move up. The 80 levels for this call strike is a very, very good support, and I do believe that below 80, one should stop out. So she can keep a stop loss about 80 and hold on to longs. It can come up towards 150 to 160, which is where she can book profits.
Okay, that's the view coming in. But let's try and connect with our caller, Ashi Kapoor, who's calling us from New Delhi. Hi, Ashi, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can.
All right, that's great. Tell us what's your query on.
Hi, so I am long on one lot of Piramal Enterprises November future at rupees 2,710. Okay. Should I book my position?
One lot of Piramal Enterprises November future is at 2697, so it's fallen below the buy price of 2710. Abhijit, what should she do? She's long and the stock has actually slipped. Do you think she can get back her buy price or she should just book out?
It might come up to a buy price, but she should use a strict stop loss of 2680 on this.
Okay, Ashi, you can put a stop loss of 2680 and hold on to your position there.
All right, so there you have it. But moving on, we're going to, address some of the trading strategies that our experts have for our viewers today. Neera, I'm going to start with you. What do you have for us today?
See, 2 stocks. First of all, GSFC, it has witnessed a very good rally of late. With open interest increase, long creation has been seen. So one can buy GSFC at current levels also with a stop loss of about 158 and a target of about 174 and 180. It can move up to 200 also. Looks very, very positive in the fertilizer space. The second stock is HDFC Limited. After a big fall, it has retraced its whole rally. A good open interest addition has been seen and has broken out above its important resistance of about 1790. So one can buy at current levels with a stop loss of about 1760 and a target of about 1850 for your longs.
Okay, so 2 long calls, HDFC futures as well as GSFC. Abhijit, you also have 2 long calls for the day. One is on GAIL and the other Oil India.
Yeah, GAIL is currently trading at 470 futures, so now the stop loss is even tighter. So with a stop loss of 464, one can go long at these levels of 470 for a target of 500 or 510. And the second call is on Oil India, OIL, where again the stock is at 373 right now, with a stop loss of below 370, let's say 368, and it can go towards 400, 410.
All right, so that's Abhijit's calls coming in as far as today and the next couple of sessions are concerned. But before we wrap up, I do want to address just a few more counters. And Wockhardt currently is seeing a decline of as much as 10% in open interest right now. In fact, 12% now. It was in the F&O band yesterday, and the stock is declining by as much as 2.8%. For at least in terms of its underlying price, currently trading at 705. Nirav, what can you advise our viewers when it comes to Wockhardt right now for the ones who were already in Wockhardt yesterday and for the ones who may be contemplating a play in today's day of trade?
See, Wokhard is actually making a higher, lower top, lower bottom formation and had reached its resistance around 740 levels yesterday. Now it is coming down from there. For trading, I do believe who had taken yesterday only for trading, one should exit positions and look for adding positions around 680 levels, which is a good support area. And for those again wanting to buy, 680 is the level which they have to look at and buy at those levels with a stop loss about 640. There has been some good setup for Wokhard for a longer term perspective. However, for a trading perspective, wait for the levels. Longer term, you can see about 840, 850 in this counter, but you will have to wait about 3 to 6 months for the same.
Okay, let's just pull up Indian Bank. Remember, the counter was up almost 9% yesterday, but there has been some serious profit booking today. The counter is down almost 4.5%, trading at those levels of 360. Abhijit, are you reading anything on the charts related to Indian Bank? Because if somebody had taken a long yesterday during the market closing, we'll be stuck right now.
Yeah, it is looking quite weak, and he should use a stop loss of, actually even the stop loss is quite far off, I think he should exit immediately. Stop loss is below 350.
There you have it, guys. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. I'd like to thank both our experts, Abhijit as well as Neera, for joining us, taking us through their strategies and also solving some of the queries of our viewers.
Right. Thanks a lot for watching the show. Stay tuned for more news and updates on BloombergQuint Live.